Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. I'm here today with Meredith.
Hello.
Hello. And then we do have a special guest. You want to share who that is?
But we might not say the name because she's calm. We got a dog.
There you go. So we'll try that.
We adopted a dog, yes.
Yes. So that's been super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're recording this on Sunday.
Yes.
And we got her last
Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that's been fun trying to mix that in.
Yes.
Yes. Now, before we get into this past week, let's talk about the week before. Because it's actually been 2 weeks since we recorded the podcast. That was travel week.
School?
It was school. We went to school in Miami, and then we went to visit a friend in Seattle.
In Seattle, yeah. Our first time.
Yes.
My first time in Seattle.
Yeah.
First time in Seattle.
That was awesome.
So that was a lot of fun. But it was, that's right. Yeah, we got back, and then I had a few days.
Yeah, we had like 2 or 3 days.
And then right back to Seattle. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of traveling.
Yeah. So in the last podcast, we talked about how we prepared for Miami.
Yes.
So we cooked food ahead of time.
Yep.
We make good choices when we're there. They have food catered. So how do you what were some common meals you chose when you were in Miami?
I talked to my coach about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, did they give you some good insight?
Yes. I brought him down to help me choose some food a couple times.
Yes.
But our X bars are clean. I had a couple of those in the morning for breakfast every day because it was just simple. Mm-hmm. I hadn't taken the time to plan or know what to have for breakfast because my normal breakfast home, I can't really have there easily at all.
We'd have to buy a toaster and buy bagels, and that's quite a bit. Yeah, especially when they have food there.
Yeah, so it worked.
So you just choose from what's available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I tried to stay consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent every day. So similar breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and try to move if I could. We went to the gym. We went for a walk.
Yeah. So food-wise, we still aimed for the same calories, the same amount of protein, and then our carbs and fats would be different if we're sitting. There's really no need to have fast digesting energy, which would be carbohydrates.
Right, I didn't do that.
Yeah, so we focus more on fat. It's kind of funny in a sense, the main meals, lunch and dinner, were chicken and rice. That's not fats.
Right.
But our mid-between meals, our snacks, like breakfast was more like fat and slower digesting foods based. So the carbs and fats would be different, but does that matter for our diet? Not really, no.
I'm shaking my head now.
Yes. So studies have found, if you control calories, you have a good sufficient amount of protein.
Yeah.
Carbs and fats are more situationally chosen.
Right.
They don't have to be predetermined. And actually, it's often a better experience for the person if they're not predetermined.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I tried to, I stayed consistent in when I ate, what I ate, the type of food I ate. And that helped. I could tell it was not maintenance calories, so I was a little hungrier.
Yeah, we erred on the side of being under, if anything.
Yeah, I leaned more into the veggies. So then on the drive home from school, it was get the Chobani yogurts and the other things that were lean, like some nuts and other stuff. Yep. So, that was good. But then when we traveled to Seattle, I was taking care of I wanted to make sure you were okay to get on the plane.
Yes, thank you.
So much so that I forgot about food.
Yeah.
So we bought food on the plane.
Yeah, and that's what you gotta do.
Yeah,
so.
And we found some almonds, and it was fine, and it worked. And we made it fit into the diet. We made it work, and I just it was a bit of a hungry 6-hour flight across country. Yeah. But as soon as we landed, we went to a posh little grocery store in Seattle.
Yes.
You had a very hard time finding food that you would normally eat.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yes.
You're where is an Acme or a Publix when you need one?
Yeah, so for example, I just wanted some Gatorade, and they didn't have sugary drinks.
Who doesn't have Gatorade?
Yeah, so we bought this mango juice that was straight mango. It was actually too sweet for me.
It was like nectar.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got it was delicious. I had never had an overnight oat before, but it was an overnight oat with chia seeds and bananas and peanut butter and a handful of dark chocolate chips. But that one cup, it was my breakfast for 2 days.
Yeah, and it actually had a pretty good amount of protein,
It was
too.
good,
Yeah.
but if I wasn't dieting, I probably would have had the whole one for breakfast.
Oh, yeah, volume-wise, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
it's actually one of the tricky things is when people don't if you're never familiar with tracking calories, people tend to eat based on volume.
Yeah.
So if you're used to having something, I'm just make up an analogy I use with clients is the calorie difference in a head of lettuce versus the same size of a smashed up pizza. Huge calorie difference, right?
Yeah.
But the volume is definitely going to be a little different because the piece is heavier. But the idea is we can have food that takes up the same space in our stomach but has wildly different caloric value.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like my during the last prep, my midnight shredded cabbage in a wok.
Oh gosh, yes.
I
I remember you telling me those stories, yes.
Gross.
Yeah. So when we are putting together meals, like whether it's down in Miami, whether it's traveling, some of the ways that we would do that is exactly what we tell clients is focus on a protein. What do you have available that will give you enough protein?
Yep.
From there, how many calories do you need in the meal? So you're going to look for a carb or a fat for energy. And then you fill out the rest with volume. If you want a lot of volume because you're super hungry, more vegetables. If you're on the go, you don't have space for a lot of volume, you just need something fast, probably going to skip vegetables.
Yeah.
So in Miami, your breakfast was the RX bars and I think a couple pieces of fruit or something.
Yep.
Probably not even 100 calories of fruit, but it was something.
Yeah.
But a quick breakfast, you're not going to want to sit down and eat, 2 cups of broccoli. Could you? Sure, but that's a pain in the butt. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we did a lot of walking. We were active, so it was a really good kind of like jump start, not even a jump start, but like a way to, I have a goal, I know I'm going to be out of my routine, I'm going to try and do the best possible. We looked at a couple of gyms, we found a good one that we were able to get good enough workouts in, and it worked. So, and then when we flew home, we adopted the dog the same day.
Yes.
And we were just getting adjusted to her. We wanted to let her get adjusted for a week. And I finally got another full body workout today.
Yes.
So it was, we knew that, and you know how to explain it better than I do, but knowing how to sustain like the diet, consistency of diet, making it work, staying active, but knowing we do need to get back to lifting heavy, get back to the regular protein levels, and like make that happen.
And I think that like a good way of kind of wording it is when everything's different, what do we keep the same?
Right.
What are we okay with things changing, and then what can't really change?
Yeah.
So when you're doing a contest prep, calorie count has to stay consistent.
Yes.
Protein amount has to stay consistent.
Yes.
Whether you have, X amount of carbs, X amount of fats, the time of the day of the meals, those things can change.
Yeah.
So that's some stuff you gotta expect to have variableness to it.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, you can't always pick what food's available when.
Right.
You can't pick your plane flights 100%. You got to kind of go with what's available and whatnot. So calories always the same, protein always the same. And then what do we allow to change? Percentage of carbs, percentage of fats, meal timing can change, and then activity can change. We would love to have weight training because it builds muscle, it increases resting metabolism. There's a lot of benefits to actual weight training. But when you can't weight train, we would still move. So the option isn't do nothing. It's not weight train or nothing, it's weight train or move.
Right.
Whether that's step count, whether it's riding a bike, whether it's walking with a friend, talking with a friend. So, what is your normal day-to-day step count?
Now, like with the dog?
No, let's go pre-dog.
2,000?
Yeah, 2,000 to 3,000.
Yeah.
So when we were on vacation, what was our step count?
Just about to say our vacation steps were like 10,000.
10,000 plus every day.
Every single day.
So if we didn't have weight training during the time, that would be okay because we still
the steps were so
still
high.
Increased our activity.
Absolutely.
Now coming back with the dog.
Yeah.
Yes. So we got it. And we're trying not to say her name because that'll rile her up.
Yeah.
But she's here.
Yeah.
So if you hear any sniffing or squeaking,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you manage that this week? How did you manage new priorities with old priorities?
It kind of helped because I know, like most things, I give myself time. I knew she has like a 2-week adjustment period. So I said, okay, the first week I'm going to do what I can, but she'll be the focus. We'll get her on a regular schedule. Helps me stay on the schedule. Helps me like I never went for walks in the neighborhood, so that helps.
Yeah.
And then again, getting back to weight training today, so it was good. It helps me get up earlier because I know she needs to be on a schedule, and
Yes.
it helps me, just be more aware of when I'm doing something or that I need to do something.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, like it puts more pressure on you being consistent with your own behaviors. Cause
exactly.
before her, you could have breakfast at 8 or 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And that would be okay. After her, it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to have her taken care of, I have this window before I get into work meetings.
Yeah.
So actually, you end up being more disciplined, but that actually helps.
Like you said, if your life, what did you say? To make your life, if your life is complicated, make it harder?
Yes, yeah.
So it's something like that. So it's allowing me to stay more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And then also finally broke the scale.
Yeah.
Not like broke, but...
yeah, we were done with that thing.
Yeah.
But we did hit an all-time low so far in our prep.
Thank goodness.
Yes, so that was great.
Excited.
So we mentioned in the previous podcasts, when we first started, our weight actually went up a little bit because we normalized our day-to-day calorie intake and we started lifting weights. So there's some glycogen storage, which would increase the amount of water retention and carb retention in the form of glucose in your muscles. Mm-hmm. So that can actually make you weigh a little bit more.
Yeah, now, that sustained for like 2 weeks.
Yes, so it took like a week to settle in and be there, then it took a week to normalize, and then it started coming down. So we talked about clients where they've gone down in 2 pant sizes before, but they may have gained 7 pounds.
Right.
And that's part of just the normalizing of healthy muscle volume storage and like healthy metabolism.
It's hard. And a lot of people like stop because, this isn't working, I'm gaining weight.
Yes.
Or I feel tight, the clothes are tighter.
Yeah, and if your goal isn't actual weight, it's appearance, then weight is a data point you would track, but it's not the true indicator of everything that's happening. So it's something you pay attention to, but it's not the thing that makes your decisions for you.
Right, and you have to trust the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that I can do, but I don't know a lot of folks that can.
And trust the process, you mean?
Yeah.
I think one thing that helps is when the process is explained. True. So when we work with people and they start on a process, like we'll have females who have come from over dieting, like over restriction, and they may even have lost their period due to that. And it's like, okay, hey, I'm just starting a client. We're starting tomorrow. She just got done taking one of those GLP-1 blockers like Ozempic.
Oh, yeah,
those things.
Yeah. Good.
So she lost a lot of weight, but it was a ton of muscle mass. And unfortunately now she's tried to come off of phentermine and that Ozempic.
She was on both?
Yeah, on both. She was eating nothing before because she wasn't hungry for it. It was like maybe 500, 600 calories a day.
Right, if you're on those two, you're not.
Yes. Hungry. So now when she's trying to, okay, what do I do after?
Right.
Like, what do I do after that? When I want to come off the drugs, well, the downside is, and this would be somebody over restriction who lost their period,
right,
is your body's in an unhealthy state.
Mm-hmm.
It would have reduced its caloric usage to anything that's non-essential. So hair, skin, nails are like a great example. So somebody's hair starts to get dry and thin, skin's kind of flaky and dry.
Yeah.
Your nails slow down in their growth pattern, and they'll get actually like a little brittle. Mm-hmm. So what you would notice is when you want to get back to healthy eating, you actually have to recover the body. So if I was dieting under too few of calories and I try to get back to healthy by eating a healthy amount of calories, it means I'm increasing my calories.
Right.
Your weight will initially increase.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
Because now you're storing water, back to healthy amounts of water retention. You're storing some glycogen, depending on the amount of carbs you're eating, but that's a healthy amount. So weight actually goes up initially.
Yeah.
So it's important when we work with clients, we'll tell them that. So they can trust the process if they know what's happening in the process.
It's a total adjustment period.
So that's the doggy squeak toy, as you can tell right now.
That's the doggo. That's not Rod.
Yes, that's not me. But that's part of what helps people trust the process is if they know if they have an idea.
True.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because my mind went to like the very first time I did it, never experiencing it before, not having anything to compare it to, and still trusting it.
Yes, still trying to trust it.
But that's the, experimentalist in my body.
Yeah. And that's also like, okay, if I hired a professional who I vetted,
I can trust it.
I vetted,
right. I can
and
trust it.
they have personal experience, they have formal education, they have experience with other people.
True.
Those would be 3 good things to look for.
Right.
And then you just have to say, okay, I'm paying them money.
Yeah.
This is their job.
Yeah.
If I hired a plumber to come to my house, I'm not going to tell the plumber what to do.
Right.
I'm going to trust that the plumber knows what he's doing or she's doing.
Imagine that.
Yes.
Wild.
So if you hire a coach, gotta trust
the
him.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were we listening to? What podcast did we listen to where it was, everyone's an expert about food because everybody eats.
Oh gosh, yes, that was Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett and Lane Norton.
Yes, everybody eats. So everybody has experience with eating. So everybody has an opinion on eating.
Yes.
But not everyone is educated.
Yes, there's a difference between opinions and facts, believe it or not.
So I'll just leave that there.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's why we missed last week's podcast. We were trying to check in every week. We're 19 weeks away now.
Yeah, we're now 19 weeks out. Yep.
From your opinion, are we on track?
We are, even though this has not been... what's funny is this is exactly what preps are.
Yeah.
But it's not what
Chaos.
it's made out to be in social media. In social media, you wake up the same time every day, you eat the same meals every day, you go to bed the same time every day.
It's the only thing you do.
And you do that every single day for 20 weeks in a row.
And you
That's
do
not
the
life.
stupid ASMR skincare bottle nail thing.
But that is the life for professionals, but not even them. Because they have work they do. They have to travel. They have to do photo shoots. They have to do Zoom calls and work demands.
Yeah.
So even their schedule is more sporadic than what you see. And we know this because we work with professionals.
Yeah, right.
So I know their daily schedule.
Yeah. So don't trust the
yes.
gram to some degree.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I think
chaos.
we're on track. Even though we've been traveling to Miami, we traveled to Seattle. You got the new family member there.
Yeah.
There's been some chaos, but that is normal.
That's normal.
Normal. So how do you manage the chaos? Like, I could see somebody saying, well, my life is chaos right now, and I'm not making progress. And it goes back to that, what stays the same and what changes.
Yeah.
Calories, protein have to stay the same. Movement has to stay the same.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly right. And, like, school has to still be a priority. Work has to still be a priority.
Yeah, still got to pay bills. Still going to have relationships.
You're still a priority.
Yay.
So, yes. And you're up on the top. So it's a lot. But that's when you get up early, or at least I do, or we both do, and you have the me time in the morning, and you kind of try and plan your day, and you look at the week ahead and the month ahead, or what are the top 3 I need to do today? Sometimes what's the most important thing I need to do today?
Yes.
How many meetings do I have in the afternoon? Is it better to work out before work? Is it better to work out after? Is it better to go for a long walk in the afternoon? Or is it better to... So just not going into your day blind, a world of difference.
Yeah, and that's something we talk with clients is not a pet peeve, but something that when somebody's learning it, I hope they learn it as fast as possible. Is often people will enter food if they use a nutrition tracking app. They enter it like after the fact, but usually it's like, oh, I had all my food today, or I had all my food yesterday. Let me put in my data. It's like, well, then they find out at the end they overate or underate or didn't get the protein right.
People grossly over and under.
That's true, yes. So I'm usually asking them is like, hey, can you just check in the middle of the day? Mm-hmm. Like check in before dinner, so then you know what to do at dinner.
Right.
Rather than checking in after dinner and then saying, oh, crap, I overate. Check in the middle of the day, or like plan your meals ahead of the day.
Right. Let it be a gut check.
Yes. So I go into clients, like I know a couple clients right now, I could name them, where I could go in, it's 8:03 p.m. right now. Mm-hmm. I could go into their tomorrow, and the food's already there. Because they plan tomorrow.
Perfect.
They already know, okay, I'm at home or I'm at office.
Yeah.
I'm doing a doctor's appointment or I'm not doing a doctor's appointment. The food's already planned that day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those are the ones who are by far the most successful.
Absolutely. Because I had to. When I had 3 jobs at one time doing prepping for the show.
Yeah.
So I had a picture, if anybody wants to Instagram stalk me, Mary Whitfit, and scroll all the way to the bottom nearly.
There you go.
It was my kitchen island, and it was just baggies weighed out of everything for like 5 days.
Yeah, and that's
covered, and little mini baggies go into a big bag, and then that goes in the fridge, and that's Monday. Throw it in my refrigerator purse. Remember the 6-pack abs bags?
Oh yeah,
but they had one that looked like a purse.
I did not know that.
So I had that one.
Of course.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just, I got to do it. And I had no time. So guess I'm buying roast chicken and microwavable vegetables.
Absolutely.
And a bag of nuts. And that got me to the stage.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't, that's the other thing too, is like, on these super, super hectic days, you can run to the grocery store and say, I know these are my best options. It'll get me the goal I want.
Yeah, even gas stations nowadays have decent options.
Heck yeah. On the way back from Miami, we got 2 chobanis. Shout out Dustin.
Yeah.
And like 2 salads.
Yes.
That were plain. They had just some shredded cheese on them.
Yeah.
And that was great volume and great protein, and that worked.
Yep.
And I had to just, if I got hungry, cinnamon gum until I get home. Like, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you make it work.
Yeah.
And you have your priority list and you go from there.
Yeah, I think you've been doing a great job. So that has been what's been the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of travel, and then this week with the doggo, and then new advancement in the diet. So we are continuing to lose weight, which we know is happening as part of the process of losing fat.
I can see it and feel it.
Yeah, we can definitely see it in the change in the aesthetics. So we know everything's going well. So this upcoming week, what we're looking to do is just get back into the routine. And we have our food in place since we've been home, but getting back into the weight training and finding the routine where you have self-care mixed in with the new responsibilities.
And it's finals week.
Oh, yeah, it's finals at school, yeah, true.
So tonight I'll be planning out my work days, my school days, my training.
So the new priorities.
All of it. And
yeah.
And this one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Now that we're closing out the podcast,
yes.
We can say her name is Daisy.
Yeah.
Little Daisy.
Little cute girl.
Yep. But yeah, so that was good. I'm glad we were able to catch up and going 19 weeks away.
Yes, which that happens fast. Yes.
Yeah, very fast.
Awesome. So we'll crush it this week, and then we'll check in next week. And if anybody has any questions, if you want to, I don't know, if you hear anything, you have any questions you want to follow up with about the journey, if you want to make any suggestions for topics you want to hear in the podcast, anything, just let us know. You can go to the website, www.brutalirongym.com. If you look on the homepage, it has like descriptions of clients we work with. It has the podcast player that goes back 300 episodes. If you're on Apple Podcasts, I believe it only goes back 100.
Yeah.
So on our website, you can go back 300, and then we have instructions underneath that on how to find older podcasts. And then at the bottom of the page is a contact form. So you can always send us a message with anything you want to say.
Awesome.
Cool. So if you like the podcast, please share the podcast. The more people we share it with, the more people we can help. If you like the podcast, please consider donating to support the podcast, which you can do on the website. And if you like the information we share in the podcast, you can find more from us on our social media channels. You can find us and follow us on Instagram and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Although you're stuck with me.
Oh, I'm never stuck. Yeah, we're together here and eternity.
Yeah.
So, yes, very grateful.
Yeah.
As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.